This map honestly seems to be a lot more about how well your team can slay and push than it does about how well you can just like hold zone. I definitely think it's going to give
like how much you can avoid messing up on your first retake.
Yeah, I think I agree with that. Yeah.
Yeah, it just takes so long to retake on this map because the zone's so far away.
It's so easy to defend too. Like
we're so bad at the game. Yeah.
You need specials, and there's not a lot of paint to charge your special. Definitely a lot better than most other maps in that regard, or at least some other maps. All the other maps that aren't on the set list for this tournament.
This is like how did that Blobber not get that kill? Actually, I thought Junk was for sure a goner, but instead he gets a double kill. So that's gonna be bad for Bit.
With H3D, almost got the armor at the ready. Going to be looking to push up on the charger here, trying to get up there before that Stingray can come out. Maybe trying to find the pick. They are going to force the charger to drop. He's going to jump out, so that Stingray is going to be coming out any second now. Probably. Maybe they're not using it yet. Probably waiting for their team. There it is.
There. Just blows up and okay. So that's not the worst situation ever for Bet's first retake. So as we talked about, not messing up really bad on your first retake is kind of what's good for you. But then again, they still don't have the zone and didn't actually make it out onto the map out of that situation. Kenny's going to go ahead and try to push up. Going to get taken out. Junk's going to go ahead and back up here. He's trying to work on another armor, and I think that he's going to have another armor by the next time Bet tries to actually take the zone here. So actually looking pretty bad for Bet if they can't actually get a penalty here. Why can't they get a penalty? Please get it. There we go. All right.
Penalty does go up, but the armor's going to be here. Stingray. Oh, you got to avoid the Stingray, but no, this is Splatoon 2. Welcome. Usually here in a 1v1 with... that's just a splatter shot 1v1, I think. It's not very often you see one of those anymore. It's normally like dualies and blasters, but here we got 2 splatter shots. Lots of paint going down on the zone. Maybe going in favor of Bet again. It is.
There we go. No penalty to work on, too.
Salt in a good spot here up on the fan.
They're in good shape.
Up on the right, though. They got to deal with that, and it's Mr. Ellipses boy. Trying to do something about that. They do get one kill. Junk here is always flanking the charger, which is a little bit uncharacteristic, I think, of an H3. I think normally you want to be like helping your team a little bit more with that weapon, but they're at least going to push the charger back, and they might cap the zone here. Storm's going to come up. Lots of paint coming out. Not going to get it, and that might be the lead for Bet. It is.
This is definitely going to be it. It is going to be the lead for Bet, and now Bet is going to have their moment to push up onto the enemy plat. Someone jumps out, so it's really good for them to stay alive. They're going to need those specials to push back in. And Inkjet actually going off in their base. Not a good look for what. We have 2 members flanking over here to the right. Weeze is going to try to stop that. The Blobber in the front is going to be stopping reinforcements coming, and that is going to be game 1 for Bet. So it looked like was actually going to be a very difficult match for Bet to win. They ended up taking in their favor after kind of a really sloppy extended first retake into just a knockout.
Yeah, it's like one of the things about zones is that like you can take the zone and you can get it down to a score, but it's like that score kind of determines like this is a difficult thought to get out. It's like it's like they got the score down to 30 points there, right? And it's like the lower your score gets, the lower the buffer that you have to win the game after you lose the zone is. So it's like they got it down to what, 34 points there, and then Bet Bet took the lead, and it's like when Bet has the lead and you're trying to push out, it's like the lower your points, the less time that you have to actually make a retake, and they barely got time to attempt one retake there, and it wasn't enough.
That's kind of the thing about this map, right? It's like I swear, it's like if you mess up your first retake, you just lose.
Yeah.
And the What had a really nice start there, but you know what? Their first retake, they popped that inkjet early, they got split up, they got picked off, and then look what happened. They just lost immediately. It's a very low tolerance for mistakes on that map.
I think it also kind of comes down to like team compositions. Like I think Inkjet kind of makes that map really difficult to push back in on. Like if an enemy team has like 2 Inkjets in your face. Just because, like you said, like you really only get like 1, maybe 2 retakes to push back in, is like, if you can cap the zone, and it's like an Inkjet is gonna 2 Inkjets is gonna pretty much completely stop one of your retakes. Yeah. So it kind of comes down to special coordination. If you can take the zone for the first time and get a wipe without burning your Inkjets, then that's probably game. But that's a lot easier said than done.
I'm seeing a report that Shaq is still mad.
Still mad? Why? Because he had to go to school?
No, because he thinks that we're not on Bet, or we think that he's not on Bet. I mean, he also thinks that he's not on Bet. He knows he's not on Bet.
I mean, I'd be mad because I had to go to school. I think there's multiple things for him to be mad about right now.
Yeah, I am done with school. I'm probably gonna get like a master's at some point because I can do it for free. But I'm at a situation where I graduate without debt, so it's just like I don't really want to. I don't want to.
Like, why? Why
yeah, exactly. Exactly. I love learning. I hate school. Check, do your homework. All right, tower control, snapper. This is definitely a game mode where you cannot win easily off of one wipe, so expect a grind to get to a knockout.
It kind of comes down to like that second checkpoint. I think it's like if you can make it past that second checkpoint, you're normally in like home run territory to win the game. Like the third one's not even normally a contest because if you can make it to the third checkpoint, you've probably already got a wipe anyways. Mm-hmm. But like kind of the battle for that second checkpoint is where things really get heated on this map mode.
Mm-hmm. Get heated at that large hump.
Sure, Hitzel.
So, all right, looks like a good start for Bet. Kind of what's expected for what we've seen so far out of that last game. Wee's going to push up. He's going to get a spawn kill with Inkjet. Will he get a second? He's trying. He wants it.
Some interesting movement from Seichi on the splatter shot, just kind of like squid bagging around, just being like, oh, you can't catch me. I like that. Kenny here getting pushed back by the baller. They might be able to win that, but here we go. We got the tower already at the second checkpoint. That was fast. Already down to 51 points.
Doesn't actually get past that one. At least not yet. Yeah, Sloth is in. Sloth is now, and Sechi is getting some kills. Actually gets an effective trade right there. CMO takes him out. It looks like CMO is going to get another revenge pick. So this is going to be kind of a scramble situation, to be honest. No real control for either person. We have a lot of people just trying to get by control of the map. Special's going off though, and now it's What's turn to try to push back Bet, but the Inkjet is taken out by a flank, and this is going to fall apart pretty fast.
Yeah, I think like when you're sitting there flying with an Inkjet and then you see like a machine come up behind you, you're just like, oh no. And it's like, there's not really much you can do in that kind of situation. Like if you let a machine close the gap on you, like you need to hit a director, you're pretty much just dead. So
it's like one of those movies where it's like a record scratch and just a freeze frame, and it's like, it was at that moment that I realized that it was not going to be a clean push.
We got another attempt here though from Bet. They made it to the checkpoint. They're gonna be getting some more points now. Hopefully making it through the checkpoint here. 2 players down. They kind of have to scramble back off and back on though. Junk actually going to find a nice pick onto the tower. Going to be opening up some defense here for Team What, as we do have the splatter shot from Seichi moving in.
That was a very unfortunate landing for
Ray
that
coming out
right there.
The tower's moving back though. So it's gonna be probably another team fight if Bet wants to get any more points here.
Which is kind of to be expected of this map, and they're once again trying to push towards the second checkpoint. Tower Rider gets attacked. Will his teammates be able to help out? Yes, they will. Good assist from the off-screen teammate right there, as the slasher is forced off the tower by reinforcements. And once again on this map, it's just like, no matter how well you do, there's always going to be more people shooting at that checkpoint. So we started to move the tower, but the checkpoint is cleared. So even if Bet doesn't actually get any more points off of this push, this is basically a victory for them, because getting past that checkpoint is so important that they'll be able to get points later.
And Sloth was actually kind of like dancing with the devil there, like really pushing into the Inkjet with their squeezer, trying to find the pick, and they almost had their Stingray ready, which is a very dangerous thing to do on tower control, but they were able to keep the Stingray up and jump out. Oh no, He's going to fall into the water. Tower going to be stopping at 28 points, I think. Yeah, it looks like that's going to be essentially a full wipe. But now with Vet getting pushed out and What getting another chance here.
Yeah, and this is what, a factor of tower control and a factor of this map are both that just getting a wipe doesn't really set you up for a push. Especially on like tower control on this map, it just takes so long to get the tower moving that like after this wipe, all that does is give them mid control to start a push. It doesn't even like start them to push in the first place. And as it's right now, by the time they're able to get back to the middle of the map, Bet is just gonna slay everybody. And now Bet is actually in the base of What as a result of What getting that wipe right there, and the tower is just moving forward again.
Oh, I think Junk actually ran out of ink there. It looked like they could have won that fight, but they unfortunately weren't able to get it. Weasel's going to pop the Inkjet, actually able to take out the squeezer. Maybe finding another one. They do get the nice direct on Seichi. Going to keep this one alive just a bit longer for their team. Another Inkjet's going to be coming up. It's up to Weasel here to try and find this. Already took I believe that was a 50 damage hit, but nope, looks like the tower's going to be back to the center of the map. And it looks like Team What is kind of just struggling to get some footing. Like they can't really get some paint down. They can't find the picks to get a push going. It looks like they're more battling to stay alive than they are battling to try and get a push going right now.
Yeah, that's kind of been the case. They had that defense where they kept respawning, and because of the map mode, they were kind of enabled to just, respawn, go defend, respawn, go defend. Right. But like you can't do that when you're in control in this map. It has to be the opposite. You have to do a really good job as moving as a unit and getting kills together and keeping the forward force up, keeping the spawns kind of the jump ins kind of like actively reinforcing the objective, and that really isn't what they were doing. They have 4 specials now.
Yeah.
3 of which are inkjets. Oh my god, everyone is flying!
They're all up. One of them's gonna fall. They gotta keep it going right now. Another inkjet's gonna come out. It's gonna force them off tower if they touch it. Oh, they're gonna be able to touch it. I think Weasel's gonna grab it right now. Seichi is gonna jump on the tower. Oh, and it's gonna get picked up right at the end.
What was that ending?
What just happened at the ending? Splatoon's a great game, guys.
That was so funny. It looked like for a second he forgot like how to actually land his inkjet. He's like, I'm above the tower, guys. Like, it's not good enough. You gotta land.
Stuck on the bridge above him. I just watched that back on the stream.
Yeah, he went back
He's
to
kind of
heaven.
like gets stuck in the air.
Implying that these memers are going to heaven. But no, that was more convincing out of Bet. To be honest, the first game, it kind of seemed like what just made a single mistake in kind of pushing wrong once for the retake on Anchovy Zones, but and that's all it takes to lose the game on Anchovy Zones. So you kind of had like not enough information to go on. But that second game, that was clearly just entirely in Bet's control the whole time. They were pushing. They were the long, extended, consistent pushes that you need on this map mode.
Yep.
And then when they were on defense, they were keeping the enemy scattered. The enemy never had any of those long, consistent pushes. Did it even reach the second checkpoint?
I don't think so. I don't think like they even really ever got like a decent amount of paint down.
Because they kept getting
every time that they got the wipe, like someone from Bet would respawn and then just like find a pick. And when you get picked on tower control on Sniper Canal, it's like all of your momentum is pretty much just slowed down. You need to sit back in neutral. You can't really go for a push anymore, and you need to try and find those picks again and keep the paint down. But it's like when you lose that one player,
getting
like,
slaughtered in mid before the push starts isn't how you do it.
Who would have thought?
Who would have thought that just getting wiped over and over? But it wasn't even getting wiped over and over again. It was just that like they couldn't get staggered. The objective. Yeah, exactly. It was staggered. Very staggered. And honestly, that was kind of their issue in the Anchovy game as well. It just didn't seem like that big of a problem because it only happened once. And it just, you could have brushed that off to just, some other things getting them separated. But the fact that they were pretty staggered throughout that entire second game makes it seem like a consistent theme. So we'll see if they recognize as well what we just recognized and kind of fix that in Humpback Zones. And to be honest, this is definitely a game mode where staggering is not going to help you.
Yeah, Humpback Zones it's one of those maps that it's like, it really rewards your team play. And it really rewards how well you can use your specials as a team. A lot more than it rewards your individual players and how much like one player can kind of get like 3 kills. Because like normally in this map, if you find one player, there's normally like at least 2 players right beside them. So it's like you normally just don't fly off and get like multi kills. It's normally like a team effort to kind of win team fights and get zone control. And considering the way that the last 2 games have been going, I think Bet definitely has the advantage in that regard. They're going to drop one player at the start. Seichi going to find another one with that Luna Blaster. Of course, that's the commentator's punch right there.
Well, I was going to say, speaking of one player getting 3 kills, there's a Luna in the game right now, but there's also a Tri-Slasher. So both teams have gone maximum scumbag, and we'll see if it's going to work out. Oh, dude, I think the Luna is such an underrated weapon.
Especially on this map,
by the way. Yeah, it's really good here. I think. Well, just the pits are so good for this weapon,
Right, and just like the elevation just kind of lets the Luna just like shoot around shooters, and like there's not really much they can do because shooters on this map is like it's like imagine if you're like running around with your splatter shot, but like the enemy is just always behind a wall that covers like the lower half of their body. Like it's just that much more difficult to hit them, but blasters don't really care about that.
I feel like the only truly good shooter on this map is Neo Splash, just because of how good the bomb rush is.
Yeah, I think I can agree.
And then and even it has burst bombs, so it has that form of splash damage. Like you see right here, how Sloth is kind of like using these burst bombs to kind of displace someone that's like on the other side of those walls. Even the good shooter on this map has a way to use splash damage to their advantage on the geometry of this map, and I think this is kind of how it works. So the Luna being able to just kind of rub its face on that aspect of being on this map is really strong for it. Oh, Kenny. Oh. Gonna get taken out there, but yeah, no, it looks like major ellipsis right here. Vesper not talking actually reminds me of the ellipsis character right there. But no, the ellipsis is going to be putting a lot of pressure in the center of the map right now. Going to be pushing up to the left. We see what could potentially be a game-winning play right here as we find... Wait, which team is which?
I believe this is a bet in the blue with What.
Okay.
So What's currently holding the lead right now, and like that penalty is actually almost gone too. It looks like What's going to be able to recap the zone here. Is there just... Oh, the last player actually does go down. So yeah, that was actually kind of the delayed full wipe. Kenny able to survive the Stingray, so they're going to be staying up here. And it's again, in this situation where the enemies have full control of the map, it's completely about your special coordination and how well you can work as a team. They do find an opening pick. One jet is just about to be at the ready. It does go up in the air. Sloth here almost has the bomb rush. As long as they can stay alive here, this is probably going to be a retake from What. Bomb rush going to be coming out. This is for sure going to be the retake.
Yeah, I was about to say that they're definitely going to have to just accept themselves losing the lead and get a retake later, but they almost actually stopped that penalty, or stop that penalty right in its tracks. But now, honestly, there's not even that big of a penalty. So if they can just get the lead, get control once here, I think they can get an easy lead.
And it's not looking good because they were in a really good position to actually take that lead. They had the jet, they had the bomb rush, and they already found the opening pick, but they still weren't able to take control off that. And we have Salt finding, I believe that was 2 kills with the Stingray, maybe just 1. Sloth here moving in, just barely out of range. See, that's the player that plays like a lot of T-Tech, and they're like, oh, the range on the splat isn't that bad. And then they go for a kill that's like outside of the range, and they're like, oh, maybe.
It's only a few inches, but it feels like everything when you're in those kind of situations like that. But no, it's this is definitely...
You go into the test range, and it's like, oh, the range is pretty good. And then you go into a game and you're like, wow, this range sucks.
Wait, can Kenny do this? Kenny is pushing PP Salt right now. PP Salt takes him out. And that is unfortunately going to be a pretty devastating wipe for What. So, and look at the, see, that's more staggering. Like, what did we talk about before? How you just really don't want to stagger on this map. This splatter shot is kind of pushing up here. And look how much time is left on this penalty. There is no reason at all to be kind of pushing up by yourself in these kind of situations. And these two people are going to get too close to the edge. There's sharks in the water. Don't get too close to the water. We'll get taken out. And this is, oh gosh, this is bad.
That's got to be game. No, there's no way they can make it back to the zone in time. The penalty's almost gone. Penalty's gone. Timer moving down. That's going to be a knockout. That's going to be bet 3-0 over What.
Dang, that makes me sad because What was so close to being able to to definitely pull something that could lead to a win out of the situation they were in, and then they just kind of started scattering off of a bad situation, and then just immediately bet capitalized on that and shut them down.
So yeah, that's gonna be bet 3-0 over What. Let's see if we can grab an update on our pools right now. That was another 3-0, unfortunately, in our Swiss stage. So we might have a little bit of a delay before we get into the next match, but hopefully it won't be that bad. Let's take a look at the Swiss stage here, see what the rankings and standings of our teams are. We currently have Is Bad 2-0, and we have Bet 2-0.
Okay.
And then as far as other teams go...
And Is Bad is basically Hive, right?
Yeah, there's, I believe, Prodigy and Marsh playing, and I'm not sure who else.
Looks like Astral might be playing as well. Prodigy, Marsh, Dreas, Astral, Tic Tac, yeah.
Dreas, Astral, Tic Tac. Okay, so yeah, it's basically Hive, and then they got some other good players playing with them too.
All right, cool. And then Prophecy. Well, Prophecy's not done their set, so definitely potentially 2-0. Let's see, who else is 1-0? Snap, which is Stalk, Broken Sunlight, Wally, Clown, and Free Oblivion. So it looks like it might be Oblivion or a lot of Oblivion members, and then Ink Sigma. So a lot of potential teams to be 2-0 right now, as we have a couple one-on-ones. So I think no matter who we watch as this third game, it should